You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Coming to you live from Turkey Town, USA, where turkeys are like people and they hunt people like turkeys. There's a baseball team, the Turkey Town Humans, and they're doing all right. Might not win the championship, but if they do, we'll interview them here on Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Travis.
Hello, everybody. I am Brandon, and I guarantee if they win the championships, it'll be a miracle. But rest assured, I have an inside connection that we can get them on. We can get on at least the superstar.
Yeah. I mean, the humans are an underdog.
Daryl Blueberry.
For sure. The humans are underdogs, but you never know. They could see a championship happen. So if that happens, you'll hear it here first on Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast. So happy you're joining us for week 6. Is it really 6? 6 weeks into, we're already on the downhill of season 5 of Rick and Morty. Unbelievable. Can't believe we've come so far and we haven't passed out in the process. Whew.
Can you believe it, Travis?
No, I can't. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either.
I can kind of believe it because we've been at this quite a while now.
Yeah. We're going to put out a poll on Rick and Morty Pod, at Rick and Morty Pod on Twitter. You let us know.
Do
you believe it?
Yeah.
We're interested to see what you guys, what unity you have to say. Please go follow us over on Twitter.
At
Rick and Morty Pod.
At Rick and Morty Pod. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Rick and Morty Podcast, Rick and Morty Podcast on Instagram, and send us an email, rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us lurking around the upper echelons of the internet over at the Rick and Morty subreddit, rickandmorty.reddit.com, or our subreddit, rickandmortypodcast.reddit.com. You can also get this podcast on our website, rickandmortypod.com, or Rick and Morty Podcast. Is the redirect working, Brandon?
I think so. Go ahead and test it out.
So you go test it out, Unity. Let us know if it's working. We're also streaming.
We'll put a poll over on twitter.com/Rick and Morty Pod. Can you get to rickandmortypodcast.com or not?
We'll see. You can also follow along live at our Twitch page, twitch.tv/Apathetic Enthusiasm, where we go live every Monday night. You can also catch recorded versions of the video episodes at youtube.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, do all the things, comment, just let us know that you were here. Finally, you can support the show. You can get a t-shirt at our TeePublic page, apatheticenthusiasm.com/shop, or patreon.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm, where you can support the show directly. And we have projects. We have things that we're trying to do on Patreon. Maybe the files have been corrupted. Who knows? I blame the turkeys.
I blame the turkey overlords for. I tried putting the commentary out there. I tried editing it this weekend, and I opened up Reaper, which is my digital audio workstation of choice. And it said, cannot find the files. It could not find my files. I think what happened was my files or my hard drive space was dangerously low. And so I sorted all my audio files because that's where a majority of my space goes. And clearly those ones were in a spot where it was like, no, get rid of them. They're gone. They're gone. But good news, like you ruined the second commentary. So it's really just important that we just
so we're just gonna we're gonna do a bunch of them. We should just binge watch season 1 and do the whole season in one go.
Let us both take a vacation day and just do that all day long.
Yeah, and watch the Olympics in the background because that's what I've been doing with the rest of my time. All right, how's everything going? Everything good? You feeling spry? You ready to rock and roll on a podcast?
I'm feeling a little squirrely tonight. I think we should get it on.
Okay.
I think you and I should get it on. We should do it together. Just and display all of our passion while we do it.
I think we'll get banned on Twitch if we try that. But In the meantime, let's get this on. It's time for semi-pertinent news.
It's semi-pertinent. It's semi. God, I messed it up. It was like semi-pertinent news. Semi-pertinent semi-pertinent news. Bow bow.
Flashback to last week. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Time for semi-pertinent
Sorry.
news.
Sorry, everybody.
great job.
I could have
Great.
used more energy on that.
It's okay. We'll get there. We have another segment that you could try.
God. Fuck. I'm such an idiot, Travis.
Did you forget to record or something?
No.
Oh.
I'm just so mad. I'm just so mad I didn't have energy in that.
I was really confused for a second. All right. Speaking of really having energy, let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con. For those of you that missed it, San Diego Comic-Con is back at home this last weekend. Second year in a row that San Diego Comic-Con has been brought to you live-ish through their YouTube channel. And Rick and Morty was represented in a couple of different ways. We talked about this a few episodes ago, tried to hype it up. But I don't know, I got to be honest, Brandon, these Comic Cons at home, they're not quite doing it for me. I'm really excited for some in-person cons, so everybody do the right thing and let's have some conventions here already. You watched the Rick and Morty panel?
I did watch the Rick and Morty panel. Yes, sir. I put it on my phone as I was driving home and on 405 traffic down Long Beach way. Yeah, I had it on. I wasn't watching it. There were times where I'd catch some of the images, and it seems like the connections were never very good, but between everybody, or it was just my internet connection. It felt like it was very, very choppy and stuff like that. The audio was fine, but
it seemed relatively okay. If you recall, we did have a bet on whether or not Dan Harmon would appear from within his closet. I in fact lost that bet, and Dan was in front of a window with some window dressings in front of it.
I won the bet. The bet, everybody. Yeah, and I only took that bet because I was like, well, yeah, I think he's going to be there too. Somebody has to bet against you. We can't have.
That's right.
We can't have a bet
Although
where both
I
of
did
us
find
bet
it
for
funny
each other.
that Sarah Chalk assumed that Dan was in his closet when they were talking about Emmys, and she's like, "Oh, do you just have him there in the closet next to you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm not in the closet." So yeah, clearly they've done enough press for Rick and Morty together over the last year to assume that Dan was in his closet. But no, who do they have on the panel? Dan.
They had Scott Martyr, Dan Harmon, Sarah Chalk, Chris Barnell, and Spencer Grammer, hosted by Brandon Johnson.
That's right.
And yeah, it was okay, right? This by far wasn't the worst panel that we've seen from the Rick and Morty gang. The thing that I continually go back to, they had some conversations about stuff throughout season 5. They didn't talk about Planetina at all, but they talked about all the other episodes leading up to episode 5. Not a whole lot of substance. There were some kind of interesting bits. The question about them focusing more on the family in these episodes, I thought felt fairly pertinent until this latest episode. But my thing is these panels, they should say something. They should have some kind of content for us to look forward to, right? That's what you go to Comic-Con for. That's what you go to panels for. You go to you hear about how the writing is or all this type of stuff, and then they treat you with behind the scenes or sneak peeks of stuff. and that's not what we've seen from these panels, with the exception of they did show us the Nimbus animatics, I think, last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but also Royland's never there anymore, except for the special guests, Rick and Morty at the end.
There's like a bug flying into my face. It's incredibly distracting, Brandon.
I didn't know if that was you being like, yeah,
like
no,
responding,
you're right. Stop
responding
talking.
weird to your points. No, I thought that was very interesting that, and you bring that up, that Royland was not in the panel, although Rick and Morty do appear at the end of the panel, and there's a quick little conversation with Rick and Morty in character, just still images of the characters, and then Brandon Johnson asking them a couple of questions. So obviously, like, Justin Roiland in some way involved in the panel, but not actually participating as himself, which is unfortunate. Love to hear from Justin and see how he's doing. So yeah, overall, there are things that we miss in these panels. You don't get the fan questions. But I mean, I appreciate all of them taking the time to do that. There were some really funny comments from some of the cast members and things. So if you did miss it, good news. Everything is on YouTube. You can go to just search Comic-Con 2021 on YouTube. You can catch all of the panels, to include Rick and Morty vs. D&D, the actual play, which I had never heard that term before, actual play, but this is essentially what Critical Role or the Adventure Zone or any other, D&D type podcast does, where they actually play D&D live or pre-recorded for an audience, and you get to watch them play D&D. In this case, playing the Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, or I guess it's the other way around, Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty set. So this was what they were playing. They had,
I think it was written by Patrick Rothfuss and illustrated by Troy Little, I think, something like that. And Troy Little was in there playing. He may have been the DM. But I know, like,
Jim Zub was in there. I think Jim Zub was the DM.
Okay. We both had the game. We wanted to play it. We asked folks if they wanted to play it before, but life takes its toll, and
Hasn't
life
happened
makes
yet.
all of us.
I want to play it. I want to play it so bad. Brandon, we should just play it. Cut the episode. Let's just play D&D right now.
All right, call up John. He can figure out a DM and add all the assets to VTT Foundry. But no, that's cool. We want to do that. I think that's really awesome that they ended up doing that. There's also a bunch of other stuff at San Diego Comic-Con at home that is unrelated to Rick and Morty, not even semi-pertinent. But go out and check it out if you're interested. Moving on to some other stuff, we got an interesting email here the other day, Travis. I'm not sure if you saw it.
I'm not sure if you saw it. Oh, I saw it.
Oh,
I think I sent it to you. I think I saw it and sent it to you.
It's from the CEO. I think I was at work. It's from the CEO of Digital Dream Labs, old Jacob Hanchar, and it's a picture of the butter robot that they are building. It's like the production model now, or the pre-production model, and it is much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting something fairly small, maybe like you fit in your hand, but maybe it's like not more than like 2 to 3 inches tall. No, the thing pretty big.
Yeah, it is pretty big, and I mean, I guess this is so it can effectively pass butter. But yeah, it looks great. Those of you catching the episode on video, you can see the picture here, Jacob holding it up. Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, this is, I don't know if it's like the final version, but it's definitely ready to start tooling and doing the things. If you caught our interview with Jacob with the update on what's going on with Butter Robot, this is very encouraging to see. So if you are a pre-order person for the Butter Robot, exciting news for you. And if you're not, well, I mean, sucks to suck. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks to suck. Too bad, so sad. But hey, You're not alone. We also didn't pre-order
We
it.
didn't pre-order it,
So-
but it looks
so-
really cool, and I can't wait to see it actually in action with all of the features that we've talked to Jacob about. So that's your
right.
Butterbot update. And speaking of Butterbot updates, it is now time for the Reddit post of the week.
The Reddit post of the week, brought to you by Reddit. This Reddit post of the week is by user Obvious Recognition 75 with a post entitled "Life's Tough" with 27.4 thousand upvotes. It's an image. It's an article. It says a self-driving freight truck just drove across the country to deliver butter. It made the daunting 41-hour trip from Tulare, California to Quakertown, Pennsylvania. It's got a picture of the truck, and then underneath, it's a picture of the butter robot saying, "Oh my God."
There it is.
27,000 upvotes. Hey, good job.
Yeah.
Good job, you
Almost
man.
249 comments. Head out to the Rick and Morty subreddit, and maybe you could be the 250th comment. Just let them know Interdimensional RSS sent you, huh? How about that? All right.
Just let them know. Just let them know. But thank you, social media. Speaking of, it's a Dan Harmon social media minute, Travis.
Dan Harmon social media minute.
Like I gotta tell you, that was probably better than
We're
mine.
bringing the
today.
fire tonight. What can I say? It's a hype episode. All right. This is a picture of Dan Harmon in a mask. Dan Harmon posting on his Instagram. Today marks 6 weeks of no sugar. 6 weeks is the maximum lifespan of a corpuscle. I don't know how to say that. So 100% of my blood's population should be healthy little Zoomers that think veggies are a treat and fame is civil service. My big fantasy is that while I'm driving home, a lab will call and say, "Mr. Harmon, your body is in a state of hyperhealth right now. You need to pull into the nearest drive-thru immediately." So big takeaway here, Dan Harmon off sugar for 6 weeks. Wow. Congratulations, Dan. Way to stay healthy.
Congrats.
When was the last time you had sugar, Brandon?
2 seconds ago, because I believe that this Q Spectacular Tonic has sugar in it.
Oh, well, there you go. I had a bowl of Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries prior to recording, so I also have not gone without sugar for 6 weeks. So
9 grams.
you know,
I've
it doesn't have
confirmed it.
sugar. The unofficial sponsor of this podcast, Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
This is the last bottle in the fridge, and most likely the last time I'll mention it on the podcast. Topo Chico, not a sponsor.
Actually the last thing that I had without sugar was Loot Crate. You can find yours at lootcrate.com. Please use the code RMP15 to get 15% off of your first Loot Crate. Lootcrate.com.
Now, Brandon, is that
breaking
code,
the loot?
Is that code RMP or RNP15?
Ooh, good question, Travis. It's R. M as in Michael. P as in Peter. 15.com.
Rick Morty podcast 15% off lootcrate.com. Get a crate. As soon as I send one to Brandon, he'll unbox it for you, and I'll post it on YouTube. Promise that'll happen. Promise that's a real thing. Okay. That's it for semi-pertinent news. If you have news stories, if you see things on the internet, send them to us, and we'll talk about it on the show. It is now time for a Thanksploitation spectacular. It's time for the main thing.
It's the main thing.
It's when you go in for the second verse or whatever. That's always what gets me. Yeah.
Gru, gaka goo gak goo gak.
Gru,
I
gaka, goo, gak.
wanted to avoid. I wanted to do turkey stuff. I'm like, don't do turkey stuff. It's too obvious. But you need more energy than the last song.
You should have sang the traditional Thanksgiving song in America that we sing every Thanksgiving.
Turkey,
Gru,
turkey.
gaka.
All right, let's get into speaking of turkey. Let's get into the episode. We're talking Rick and Morty's Thanksploitation Spectacular. It is season 5, episode 6. It aired on July 25th of 2021. Written by James Siciliano, directed by first-time director of Rick and Morty, Douglas Einar Olson. It guest stars Keith David, of course, as the president. Timothy Oliphant, who you might recognize from Justified or Hitman, or I think he was in Live Free or Die Hard. He's done a bunch of stuff that no one's ever seen before. But he played the soldier who turns himself into a turkey. Troy Baker is there, Don Lewis, Nolan North, another famous voice actor, and Kari Walgren was also in the mix there. Bronopsis wise, gobble gobble, bruh. Rick and Morty giving thanks in this one. What's our synopsis, Travo?
Just in time for the hottest part of summer, it's time for the Thanksgiving episode. That hot vac summer. Gotta get the Thanksgiving on the table.
Why don't we have more Thanksgiving in summer? Thanksgiving should be maybe like semi-annually, I think. Another excuse to eat a lot of food.
No reason not to give. Like as Americans, we need excuses to eat lots of food. We have I don't know, 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day. We got plenty of reasons to eat lots of food.
Yeah.
In the summer.
But we got to keep the turkey population low. Right?
Yeah, you never know when they're gonna rise up and revolt against the United States. So yeah, but that's why we have Subway. Eat fresh. You can get a $5 footlong turkey sub.
Sponsored by Stephen Curry. Steph Curry?
Stephen, Tom Brady, whoever. They're all they're all slinging sandwiches. All right, so the title reference pretty straightforward in this one. The title's in reference to what happens in the episode. It is a Thanksgiving spectacular. This is I don't know, it was a weird theme. Like it's definitely a Thanksgiving episode. This is sort of a reoccurring theme now where we're getting holiday specials of Rick and Morty that in no way correlate to the actual holidays that they represent. Do you think this is just like an obscure like meta joke that the show is doing now where they're like, yeah, we'll do a Christmas episode in the middle of fall. We'll do a Thanksgiving episode in July. It doesn't really matter. Like, we'll just do whatever. An Arbor Day episode in whenever Arbor Day's not.
I'd have to go back and look at the original air date for Anatomy Park, right? Because that's a Christmas episode at its core.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that was aired. Certainly not on Christmas Day. No way.
Certainly
no
not.
how. I know you're looking it up, but I'm interested in the off-season joke of having a holiday episode.
All right. Well, Anatomy Park aired December 16th, 2013.
Not close enough. Wasn't on Christmas Day.
The next episode, M. Night Shyamalan's January 13th, almost a month apart. So it was the closest to Christmas for season 1.
It's not the same. I fault the creators.
2013, that was so long ago. That was forever ago.
That was at least 5 years ago.
At least.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I think this is the last time they associated. That was the last time they associated a holiday with its holiday episode.
No, absolutely
this one is clearly.
What's the Snake Jazz episode? What episode is that?
That was Season's Greetings episode.
Yeah, that's definitely a Christmas episode.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm gonna look it up right now. It's
look it up.
Rattlestar Rick Lactica was December 15th. So yeah, so those are both correlating with so holidays.
they respect Christmas, but they don't respect America's birthday.
yeah. They couldn't give us the 4th of July episode we needed. pop quiz for you, a little trivia time for Brandon.
Sure.
Who wrote Rattlestar Rick Lactica? Season 5 or season 4?
Ooh. Jeff Loveness?
No. Oh, no.
Damn.
Who wrote this episode?
Oh, James Siciliano.
That's right. Yeah, he's becoming the holiday guy in Rick and Morty.
They're like, "Hey James, we need another holiday idea from your bag of holiday." He has like a little card, like one of those phone number Rolodexes of just like holiday ideas. He's like, "All right, check this out.
Hear me?
Pardoned turkeys."
He's just breaking stories in the writer's room, and instead of a notepad, he has a calendar. And he's like, all right, here's the deal. Hear me out. Martin Luther King Day. What do you guys think? Yeah, he's just I don't know. I like
Okay, Grandparents' Day. All right, Rick is a grandpa. Why don't we have a story centered around Grandparents' Day and how he thinks all other holidays are stupid, but he expects them to respect him on this particular day.
I'm
Please
gonna
don't
write that down. That's actually a pretty good. That's a pretty good Rick and Morty concept. We may see that in the next 60 episodes or so.
Yeah.
All right.
Once we get hired.
What
Anyway,
do you think about holiday episodes in general? Do you for them? You against them? You do care?
Yeah. I mean, if it elevates the content of whatever they're talking about, sure, holiday episodes work for me.
I'm calling it now. This is going to be rewatched by thousands of Rick and Morty fans every Thanksgiving. Now they're going to go back and watch the Thanksploitation Spectacular. It's going to be a Thanksgiving tradition.
That you said thousands and not millions.
No. And I was aiming high. Like I thought maybe hundreds. Tens of hundreds.
I watch Minority Report on 4th of July.
Yeah,
I probably won't watch this every Thanksgiving, but all right, well let's talk a little bit about. Well, you asked the question about themed episodes. This is a Thanksgiving special. How do you feel about that in the middle of July? We're at the end of July now.
Yeah, I think it's bizarre to have a Thanksgiving themed episode not around Thanksgiving, but also when you consider the production schedule and the 10 episode run that we're getting for season 5, we are not necessarily going to have an episode in November. I think that's overly optimistic to think that season 6 would come back by November. I think this season's going to run into September, right? If the math is correct.
September.
So if you're gonna do a Thanksgiving episode and you I like the idea. I like the absurdity of the turkey pardon, and as like an idea in general. And so for them to run with that, I don't mind necessarily that it's not a Thanksgiving time of year. And I think now so many people rewatch episodes throughout the year. It could in fact be something where like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, let's watch the Thanksgiving Rick and Morty episode. Just like the Thanksgiving Charlie Brown episodes, right? Like you just go back and you watch it.
Well, I think there is a certain piece of how things become tradition and how things become watched over and over again that you can't force it. Otherwise it doesn't. It has to take a life of its own. Same thing with movies that have achieved cult status.
Yeah.
Where like John Carpenter's The Thing was a box office bomb in 1981 when it came out, but over time people have grown to appreciate its brilliance, and I do say brilliance. Over time, if an episode or a movie sets out to be that kind of tradition, I don't think it gets to the same status. I don't think it does.
I think
look at the movie Independence Day. Nobody watches that on Independence Day.
I mean, I don't know that that's true. I'm sure somebody watches it. Somebody that's really into FX or something like probably watches it. But or the USA Network. I don't know. They probably watched the cable cut version of it.
I watched it.
Yeah,
I watched it.
I know.
I'm not ashamed.
I know you watch it. I think really,
I saw it in theaters that weekend. Damn it! I saw it in theaters.
Here's the long term. Here's the long term bet, Brandon. Will Adult Swim rerun this episode in the 3rd week of November this year?
Oh shit. Yes. I don't think they'll do this one specifically. I don't think it'll be themed after this episode, but I think it will play only because Adult Swim plays Rick and Morty marathons every other day.
Nonstop, right? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they
so.
will. Maybe they will. What do you think about turkey pardons? How do you feel about the tradition of pardoning a turkey in the United States?
I didn't put this in the Reddit discussion post stuff, but I think it is a very, very strange tradition. I honestly don't know the history of the turkey pardon. I just know it started, and every year a president pardons a turkey, like they have rights, and we're not going to kill them anyways, and and eat their precious turkey flesh. It's strange. It's a little morbid to be honest. It's like it's like Sophie's Choice of of things, where it's like like a turkey mother is looking at her turkey kids and being like, pardon one of these hundreds of turkeys, uh and kill the rest of them, right? Like, that's a difficult decision to make as a turkey. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's morbid. It's morbid.
I want you to know, Brandon, that the turkey presentation ceremony dates back to the 1940s, so not even 100 years. But that the turkeys were usually slaughtered and eaten prior to the 1970s. But in the 1970s, it became standard practice to spare the turkey. So really, only since the 70s has the turkey pardoning really been
That's
a thing.
Even worse.
And
That's even worse.
it was the presidency of George H.W. Bush when it became a tradition to issue a ceremonial pardon to the turkey, which of course is the loophole that Rick exploits in this episode, breaking any number of federal crimes and then finagling his way into being pardoned by the president by assuming the role of the turkey in the turkey pardon.
So the first president to do that was FDR then.
This says the National Thanksgiving Turkey Presentation is a ceremony that takes place at the White House every year shortly before Thanksgiving. The president is presented with a live domestic turkey by the National Turkey Federation, usually males of the broad-breasted white variety. The early years also included a joint presentation with the Poultry and Egg National Board. That's for you fun. That's a fun fact for you folks at home. It does date back to the 1940s. However, those turkeys were usually slaughtered and eaten, with some exceptions, prior to the 1970s. So from 1940 to the 70s, they just eating them turkeys. They're like they would present the bird and be like, "Sir, this is the turkey that you're gonna eat later," and you'd be like, "All right," and then in the 70s, they started to spare the turkey, and then the actual pardoning of the turkey started with the Bush presidency, and has carried on since then. So
Okay. So it's basically a tradition like any other in the U.S. where it starts very, very savage, and where we kill lots of things, and then eventually we're like, no, this is a fun thing. No, this is tradition now.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's hunky. They love each other.
Paper hats about it, and everybody will be happy.
Oh, hey, outline my hand. These are the feathers.
Yeah,
I'll put a turkey head.
My plume.
My plume.
Yeah. So I think the absurdity of this tradition and the fact that it's something that Rick could use to kind of get out of jail free every time he breaks federal law. I think that's a good driving idea for an episode. Combine that with some Thanksgiving comedy. It's not really an A plot B plot sort of episode like we got last week, which I don't know. I feel like the pacing in this episode and the giant sperm episode, like sometimes it feels a little bit rushed. Because there is so much going on. There's action sequences. They're moving the story along very quickly, and they only have about 22 minutes to get everything in. I feel like I don't get to fully appreciate these episodes the first time I watch them. I think I have to. It does take a couple times to catch some of the subtle jokes and other things that seem to just be going by too quickly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right about that. I can't recall feeling this way in earlier seasons, and I'm not saying that the earlier seasons are better, even though I enjoy them more. Uh, all I say is that it feels like there's a lot of starting one way till the break, and then after the break going a completely different way. This episode felt, for the most part, kind of consistent with that. It started with turkeys, it ends with turkeys. There's a consistency there, but it does feel rushed where they want to get to the next part of the journey much quicker than maybe it feels like they feels like they flesh it out enough.
Yeah.
I will say that there when with all these episodes in season 5, the first time we watch them, I am always like, okay, what is I enjoyed it, sure. What is actually happening here? What are they trying to get at? So we do talk about themes a lot. The Mortyplicity one, that's the one that I have hardest time coming up with themes. But this one to me, uh, as an American, uh, I it is kind of poking. This is their criticism, their critique, their feedback. I don't want to say criticism. I just want to say their patriotic feedback of America and its traditions, how they've found their traditions, even with things like Summer saying, talking about genocide,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't know, that's what I should, which I thought was kind of like a weird throwaway because no,
Yeah.
it was right. um, but talking about like the troops, turning the troops into turkey, even the post credit stinger of him having PT, uh, post traumatic blueberry disorder, PTBD, as a turkey, jokes about not getting paid enough for medical and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The soldiers run away in the cornfield. Like I think I did enough for my free education, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That type of stuff. There is that talk about heritage, even when they cut the top off the Washington Monument. Like these are ingrained in the story of this episode.
Yeah.
And although there's the absurdity of the turkeys, that is clearly there.
Yeah, I think the use of all of the national monuments, and they definitely highlight a lot of them. And really Thanksgiving is a pretty American thing. It's something. It's a gigantic holiday here, but around the world, most people have no idea what we're celebrating or why we're celebrating it. And so
Well,
yeah,
every country around the world has a lot of countries around the world have their version of Thanksgiving, but our version of Thanksgiving is very clearly about the myth of Plymouth Rock and the Pilgrims meeting with Indians and like, oh, we're all buddy buddy. We don't hate each other. Let's have a feast together, and let's not ransack and steal all your land and
yeah,
that type of stuff.
and in
Not saying it happened, but
and in
go
the
ahead.
most Rick and Morty way possible, this episode turns that story into a bizarre version of the past where dinosaur-sized turkeys roamed the United States and two alien civilizations crashed down and joined together through their mutual bond of hating the turkeys, and their costumes, their clothing, rather reminiscent of Native Americans and the Pilgrims that we have made said paper hats and things in elementary school for generations. So yeah, they definitely twisted that. Obviously, there's a little bit of like some just topping of National Treasure references and things at the beginning and towards the end of the episode. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was very interesting how they sort of mashed all of those themes together to create.
What do you think about? There's a critique I've seen about Rick and Morty, with the season specifically, with starting with like a conceit and doing the conceit poorly. I've seen also like mentioned about heist movies. Do you the critique for this episode was they started with a National Treasure and like they didn't even, it wasn't like it was poor commentary on like a parody or spoof of National Treasure. Do you think that was the point, like of this episode, to like spoof National Treasure?
No,
they did have it at that part at the end with like
Yeah.
the Crypt of the New World or whatever.
I don't think that was the driving force behind it. Like, if they had set out to do a National Treasure episode, I think it would have looked a lot different. It would have been much more heisty and things like that. But I mean, the movie National Treasure is just an American themed heist, right? Like that's and they've
Yeah.
done a heist episode. They've done they've done some other episodes like that. So I don't know that was the goal here. I think and honestly, there was a part of me when it first started where I was like, are they gonna do like a Pickle Rick thing? Like, is he just gonna be a turkey in this episode? Like, is that oh, look at me, I turned myself into a turkey. I'm Turkey Rick. Woohoo. Like, so I think they were able to balance that well, where they had the turkey stuff up front and then they kind of moved away from that, brought in the superhuman turkey people at the end. So just really playing with those different types of turkeys throughout. I'm saying turkey a lot in this podcast.
Well, you put it in our Twitch announcement that we were talking turkey. You weren't lying. You weren't lying to him.
I ain't
You
lying.
weren't lying to him.
Yeah, and then
Uh,
again, this episode was another battle between Rick and the President of the United States, voiced by Keith David. Again, wonderfully done. At this point, is Keith David a series regular now? Like, can we just call that? Like, I think he's been in 3 episodes already in season 5. I don't know. He's great, but I don't know. It's just, it kind of, I'm ready for Rick to fight somebody else. Like, I'm ready for Rick to fight someone other than the president.
yeah. Wait, well, I think this episode was a good way to get after your wish, Travis, because this brought them together.
That is true.
It separated their differences. They gave thanks and they made up over bread, and also calling Jerry a dumbass.
Yes.
And-
Mashed
and-
potatoes.
Rick gets his pardon. Now they're kind of friends again. This is like, in my mind, they're friends who they got into a feud over something, and they're both too stubborn to admit they're wrong. But in this case, Beth told him to shut up, and then they fed him Jerry's uncooked turkey.
Ugh.
Or raw.
Always
fully cooked
fully
turkey.
cook your turkeys, everybody. Any other thoughts on theme here? Or, I mean, I think we've already
No,
extrapolated quite a bit from this episode.
I think that's it. I think that's it. It the big thing was just a critique about even like they make the joke with FDR about mythologizing politicians. The joke about Turkey, the Turkey president, the giving Congress its 3rd pay raise in like
6 hours
a day.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Showing that Congress and politicians are just more into the money than they are into the general well-being of their populace.
Yeah, there was that one line from Rick that is something to the effect of governments are just job placement programs for like the people that are in them or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they just kind of breed more politicians that then continue to do the same sorts of things. So
Yeah. And you know, you look at the people are in politics. Even the Bushes, right? The Bushes were in there. I know that Sarah Huckabee, is running in Arkansas. Even Chelsea Clinton she is entertains stuff. These are it's a mill of uh, parents and children going through the political process. The Kennedys, right? They're all there. Whatever.
Mhm.
Let's get away from politics. I can whatever. Best worst parts, Travis. Let's move on.
One of the best parts, and I know this was one of the best parts because you stopped in the middle of the episode to text me about it, is Turnin' Turkey. This is the original song featuring Jason Page and Ryan Elder, close personal friend of the show, Ryan Elder. This was the musical interlude that this was played over the montage as the Marines were heading off, leaving their homes and their pregnant wives and their pickup trucks to go and turn into a turkey, hoping their DNA is backed up so that when they are done being turkeys, they can be Marines again. A very, very country vibe to this song. What did you think about the new original song?
Oh man, I listened to this 3 or 4 times on the way home from work today, and just the way Jason Page does his country twang and talks about gobble gobble. This is like goes into that country soul, saying gobble gobble. It gets me. It's perfect. It is
Yeah,
perfect. And the lyrics, I meant to write the lyrics down, but the lyrics are great too. Talking about Lincoln Logs and apple pie.
Your Lincoln 9/11 logs or something, and which not in the actual episode. You got to actually go out to Spotify or wherever you get your streaming music and check out the full version, much like Ryan Elder has done with some of the other songs from this season and seasons previous to this one. He's created a full song, not just a small snippet. So if you go listen to the full version of Turnin' Turkey, there's a whole nother like verse at the beginning, and it's I don't know, it's interesting. Go check out the song. It's good stuff.
Go check it out. You put because this is in our best worst parts portion of the discussion, which is we will only mention this on this episode. You put here kind of dark post credit scene there. What do you mean by that, Travis?
Well, I mean the way that
what do you mean?
The way
You didn't laugh?
I'm sorry. This is a comedy podcast. So yeah, the spilled blueberries where the Marine has his PTSD moment, and his wife comes back from choosing between kibble and Captain Crunch or I don't know, Strawberry Smiggles, whatever they ended up with. And he's pecking at those blueberries, and you have all the commentary in the background of like, what's wrong with him? I'm not paying for his medical care and all this stuff. Just like a whole lot of really like politicized commentary. And like the wife is just crying with her baby at the end. I mean, it's kind of dark and kind of sad. But yeah,
he says, they can't afford healthcare. They have to buy more missiles.
there you go.
Which, that's a good line by Timothy Oliphant. Yeah. By the way, the first Rambo is a great film. The story too, talking about how people treated Vietnam veterans coming back from the war. Rambo, First Blood, great movie. Check it out. In the original story, I believe he
available wherever you can find
great.
Rambo.
Stallone, Dennehy, Brian Denny. It's great. It's great. We'll do a Rick and Morty podcast just on that.
Just about. Well, eventually we have to get back into Apathetic Enthusiasm at some point. So just write it down. Write down Rambo. I am creating a new segment this is, I mean, it's not a segment. We're still in the main thing, but this is our interdimensional cable bit. It seems that 2 episodes is like a coincidence, but 6 episodes seems like a trend here. We have gotten one interdimensional cable type clip in every episode this season. This episode being no exception, as Jerry is eating his Thanksgiving dinner at the table. He has the TV on and he is watching a Charlie Kaufman reboot of Wizard of Oz. There's some dialogue in the background, like saying that one of you wants courage, which is like a personality trait, while the other 2 want actual human organs or something like that.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah. So
and then the Tin Man is typing. Yeah, like Adaptation, like that movie Adaptation with Nicolas Cage, which I haven't seen, but
yeah. Anyway,
not Lost in Translation. Whatever. Yeah, this one the thing that I've seen on Reddit is that like this one it feels more Family Guy-ish. It seems like a Family Guy-ish aside. If it was in the background, it would have been one thing. But then they showed the Tin Man typing as Nicolas Cage. And some folks don't like that.
I could see how these interdimensional cable clips, if they continue to do it in this style, would almost start to feel like a Family Guy cutaway sort of aside, because they're so non-pertinent to the rest of the story most of the time, and they just find an excuse to turn on the TV once every episode. The other part of this is I don't know if that was supposed to exist in another reality or not, because it's immediately interrupted by the news showing that the president is going to turn all of the turkeys into superhumans. But anyway, that's your interdimensional cable bit. And it's now time for us to rattle off our laundry list of favorite bits from throughout the episode. Little observations and things that we enjoyed from this episode. My first one is Rick's RC car, which happens in the cold open. I think it's the first thing to come through the portal. Shooting some webbing or sacks of some sort over the security cameras. And Rick's just kind of, driving the car. He's got the little green, control thing with the wheel on the side. Takes me back. But I just like that Rick uses an RC car as a gadget to try and break in and steal the Declaration of Independence.
And that little RC car shoots like little watermarks on 2 of the statues that are surrounding the Constitution in their crotch area.
Yeah.
It makes them look like they're peeing, like they peed their pants.
Yeah.
Call me Miles Davis, right?
There you go.
Yeah. On that subject, at the end of the episode, they're driving a remote controlled version of an AT-AT, and
you mean an
then they make the joke.
Brandon?
That's what the millennials call it. What do you? We've had this argument before, or at least this discussion.
As
you call it AT-AT.
As an elder millennial, I do call it an AT-AT. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we have had this discussion, and you're wrong. It's an AT-AT.
Okay.
It is an AT-AT. Why would you say AT-AT? You're adding an extra hyphen. You're actually adding 2 extra hyphens. That lengthens the name of it.
What's the name of that little blue robot that rolls around in every Star Wars movie? R2-D2?
Well, R2-D2 is a different thing. You can't say like R2
or C3 or C3PO or any other thing in Star Wars where every letter is spelled out.
How would those are all consonants? You say the PO, don't you? C3PO. You say the O.
Yeah. So what do you call the 2-legged walker in Empire or in Return of the Jedi on Endor? The little 2-legged walker. What is that called?
That's called the Atsist.
Get out of here.
Everybody knows that.
The podcast is over. Get out of here. Nobody calls it an Atsist.
Whatever. Speaking of things with
is what it's called
because
it's an AT-AT.
No, nobody calls it ATAT because
All
that's
right.
not what it's called. It's called an AT-AT.
All right, that's your call to
Speaking
action
of,
this week. Let us know what you guys call it.
that's another survey that we're gonna have a poll over on Twitter at Rick and Morty Pod. Things with legs, FDR spider. Speaking, we thought of the thing that walks the most.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. We asked ourselves, what walks the most? I love that line. Love that line. The mirroring of the turkey plan. I like the way that they directed the scene where Rick is explaining his plot to become a turkey, and the way that they cut back and forth with the president's scheme to trick Rick. And I just really like the way that was all executed. Very, very good stuff.
You have here that will be important later, which is reference to the pill that the U.S. Armed Forces they take and then the president takes. It was important later. It got it got swallowed by a non-president turkey, which jump started the rest of the episode.
I just like how they
like
keep
that
foot stomping that. They're like, this will be important later. That'll be important later. Like, when you're watching like an action movie and they reiterate the same thing several times, this is very much the same sort of thing, except they're just being very on the nose about it, which I like.
Yeah. What I like was when the turkey that wasn't the president turned into the president with the DNA. It was very, very reminiscent of Cronenberg's The Fly, when Brundlefly first like appears in the teleporter. And he's kind of like kneeling down, and it's got the smoke kind of raising up from him. I thought it was so great as far as a body horror perspective, a Cronenberg body horror perspective. That little scene of the president,
and just
it was like a little plume on his butt crack.
Yeah, all the animation of those transformations was just kind of very Cronenbergy and like just kind of warped and looked like they're tortured for those moments as they transition between forms. So I don't know. I thought kudos to the animation team for all of those. I found it hilarious the turkey marines that were freaking out about their larger field of vision. This isn't like the simulation, sir. The one that just couldn't hold it together because he had 280 degrees of vision. That I really like that joke.
What was great about that too was visually they made it letterbox. They made it widescreen. Which is something I didn't notice right away. I was like, oh, they just made it sepia. I'm like, oh, that's great. But then I'm like, oh no, they put the black bars on the top of the screen to change the perspective of what they could actually see. So
yeah, they were actually showing like everything 280 degrees around the turkey, which was really interesting to see. I thought that was cool.
That was a good touch. We said it a couple times. My plume. That was a great line by Rick. Let's see. You got the official farm transport pen for turkeys that might get pardoned.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So this was like a running gag throughout, and it was a visual gag. They didn't actually talk about it, but when Rick and Morty first go to the I don't even think Rick and Morty go to the farm. The turkey marines go to the farm, but there's a water tower that says it's like the official farm for turkeys that may get pardoned by the president. And then it was like turkey transport, which was the official transportation method for turkeys that may get pardoned. And then even like the turkey pen was like holding turkeys for pardon since like 1870 or like so there's just all these visual like signs like of these official places, just kind of reiterating the absurdity of the entire turkey pardoning process. That there's all these official means for facilitating the turkey pardon process. I loved it. I thought it was good.
I loved it. I know that there's a couple other things that you kind of
did you just try to spit in my face with no saliva glands? I thought that was great. It cracks me up every time I watch the episode. When the president shouts out Mary Todd Lincoln in Congress and a motorcycle flies out of the wall. How many Rick and Morty fans will now go visit Congress and try to shout out Mary Todd Lincoln? Hopefully some. And then finally, the president's speech when he is trying to rally the troops, and just the writing of that. What is the speech? Is it not just words? Is it lists? If I say it over again, like he just the absurdity of that speech and the critique on speech giving in general. I just have 2 questions for you, sir.
Lock and load. Those are rhetorical. Lock and load.
Let's go. All right. So those are some of our favorite bits. Oh, the other one that it's just past the page break is when Rick tells Morty to cut the blue wire, and inside the panel it's all blue wires. I love that they turn that trope on its head a little bit. What if they just use the same color wire for everything?
Of primary colors, right?
Yeah.
Those are our favorite bits. Hit us up over on our social media for any of your favorite bits. That we're talking Rick and Morty Pod over on Twitter. We're talking Rick and Morty Podcast at gmail.com. Or if we post something over on Instagram, you can send us something there too. That's cool. And make sure you look out for all of those surveys that we talked about today, because they're all going to be there. No guarantees they'll be there. But what will be there is RMP15 over at lootcrate.com.
Wonderful transition, Brandon. All right, moving into our listener suggestions and short outs. These short outs coming to you from Twitter this week. First up, we have Cody Blue Carp, who says, at Rick and Morty Pod, I am literally LOL. Taking this trivia of seasons 1 through 4 on Rick and Morty. You guys that we did, this was an episode that we did just prior to the start of season 5. You guys should totally do trivia for season 5, maybe even split it up with episodes 1 through 5 and then 5 through 10. And then he mentions that he aced the trivia, obviously, but that it was so much fun. A couple of hashtags in there. Thank you, Cody Blue Carp, for that. We love trivia. It is true. We love trivia. How about you?
Maybe going into the post season, we will do a trivia episode. Hear me out, Travis.
Oh, I'm listening.
Maybe I come up with 10 questions, 10 trivia questions. You come up with 10 trivia questions about season 5, and we'll see how each other do.
Does it try to like stump each other, like cut the chut, like see who can stump the chut? And,
stump the chut, season 5 trivia. Yeah, we could. That's what it'll be.
I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that down so that we don't forget it. Stump the.
Stay tuned for Stump the Chut trivia at the end of season 5. It's not going to be anything like what color fingernail polish does. It has to be doable. It has to be gettable. But I think we could do that. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Send your trivia suggestions to me, because Brandon's gonna kick my butt at this.
Send them to me at Barnyard Cruise on Twitter.
There you go.
Send him to at Jugglemino.
Spelt like it sounds. Final short out this week goes to Stacy's Pop Culture Parlor, longtime friend of the show. Mentioning last week after our episode, nice to hear Rick and Morty Pod coming around to Jerry, but y'all, Jerry has always been the best. Now, who wants to come watch Midnight Run with the director's commentary on? There was some back and forth. You obviously talking about that Midnight Run's a great movie. I mentioned that the factory tint settings are always too high, or whatever it was. Then she also goes on to say what she always liked about Jerry is how he reacts to things like an actual normal person. In the earlier series, he was always the one who recognizes how dangerous Rick is for their family and isn't up his butthole. And also, if there was an alien invasion, I too would absolutely just crawl anxiously home in hopes I didn't get noticed. She just thinks he is so human and sweet. We're all Jerry's, whether you want to admit it or not. And going all the way back to that San Diego Comic-Con panel, Chris Parnell's just the best. He's great. Love Parnell.
He is just the best. none of us are the smartest people in the universe. We are all Jerry's in our own special ways, and don't beat each other up. All right, we're all cool. We all pee our pants.
Sure. And on that note, let's go ahead and put an end to this episode. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you want to be part of the show, hit us up on any of those social media links that we mentioned at the top of the show. You can also rate, review this podcast wherever you consume this material. Thank you so much to everyone that continues to support the show. 4 more left. 4 more in season 5.
4 more left. And
crazy.
And if you want to finally hear what we have to say about the episode that all of you pirated after Amazon accidentally leaked it, then tune in next week.
Just a week away. All right. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. And until next time, I'm Travis.
And I am Brandon. Thanks
Bye.
for listening. Man, I can't wait to use RMP 15 over at lootcrate.com.
Go do it. Go buy a loot crate.
I just want that crate. Just give me that crate.